Hi there, future teacher. Welcome to your study guide for the Praxis 5692, Special Education, Early Childhood, and Early Intervention. This exam is for educators working with learners from birth through age 8 in special education and early intervention settings. In this video, I'll walk you through a refresher of the key information you need to know to pass. Before we dive in, we put together a free study guide workbook that goes along with this video. It has key terms, practice questions, and space for your own notes. Grab your free copy from the link in the description. This video is presented by TeacherPreps.com. Our full exam prep includes complete study guides, full-length timed practice tests, vocabulary exercises, and constructed response practice. It's free to get started. Alright, that was our plug. For the rest of this video, it's go time. Grab your pen and paper. Let's start with the exam format. The Praxis 5692 has 120 selected response questions, and you get 2 hours to complete them. That gives you exactly 60 seconds per question. 1 minute per question is generous, so use that time wisely. Read each scenario carefully and eliminate answer choices before selecting. The exam covers 5 domains. Domain 1, Child Development and Early Learning, is 21%. Domain 2, Curriculum, Planning, and Instruction, is the largest at 25%. Domain 3, Assessment, is 20%. Domain 4, Partnering and Collaborating, is 18%. And Domain 5, Legal and Ethical Practices, is 16%. In this video, we'll deep dive into Domains 1 and 2, which together make up 46% of your exam. Domain 1 is Child Development and Early Learning, worth 21% of your score. This domain tests how young children develop from birth to age 8, including typical and atypical development, major educational theories, and the causes of various disabilities. You need to know the difference between typical milestones and red flags. Typical development follows a predictable sequence but varies in timing. Most children say first words around 12 months and walk independently around the same age. By age 2, children typically combine 2-word phrases and engage in parallel play. Atypical development means a child is significantly behind in one or more areas. The key developmental domains are cognitive skills, social-emotional skills, adaptive skills like feeding and dressing, gross motor, fine motor, and communication, which includes both expressive language, what a child says, and receptive language, what a child understands. Autism spectrum disorder affects social communication and may include repetitive behaviors. Down syndrome typically affects cognitive development, muscle tone, and speech. Cerebral palsy affects movement and posture. Fetal alcohol spectrum disorders can cause cognitive delays and behavioral challenges. Now let's cover the major theories. Piaget's sensorimotor stage, birth to age 2, is when infants learn through senses and movement. Object permanence develops here. The preoperational stage, ages 2 to 7, brings symbolic thinking, but children struggle with logic and egocentrism. Vygotsky's zone of proximal development, or ZPD, is the gap between what a child can do independently and what they can do with guided support. The support provided within this zone is called scaffolding. Bandura's social cognitive theory has 3 components: environment, behavior, and personal perceptions. Children learn by watching and imitating models. Montessori emphasized child-directed learning with hands-on materials. Operant conditioning from Skinner uses reinforcement to shape behavior. The exam tests etiologies, the causes of disabilities, in 3 categories. Prenatal causes happen before birth. Genetic conditions like Fragile X syndrome and Down syndrome, plus fetal alcohol exposure. Perinatal causes happen during birth. Oxygen deprivation, premature birth, low birth weight. Postnatal causes happen after birth. Traumatic brain injury, lead poisoning, and adverse childhood experiences known as ACEs. Reactive attachment disorder develops when infants don't form healthy bonds with caregivers. Remember, the earlier the intervention, the better the outcomes. Practice question. A 2-year-old in early intervention uses single words and gestures, but does not combine 2 words. The child plays alongside peers, but does not interact. Which area of development is most likely delayed? A. Gross motor development. B. Expressive language development. C. Adaptive behavior skills. D. Visual spatial processing. Take a moment to think. The correct answer is B, expressive language development. By age 2, children typically combine two-word phrases like want milk. This child uses single words, suggesting an expressive language delay. The parallel play is actually typical for a 2-year-old. Focus on what the scenario specifically describes and match it to the developmental domain. Domain 2 is curriculum, planning, and instruction, the largest domain at 25%. It covers planning instruction for young children with disabilities, differentiation, evidence-based interventions, universal design for learning, and managing challenging behaviors. Universal Design for Learning, or UDL, has 3 principles. Multiple means of engagement. The why of learning motivates through choices. Multiple means of representation. The what presents information in visual, auditory, and tactile formats. Multiple means of action and expression. The how lets students show learning through speaking, writing, drawing, or assistive technology. UDL means designing the curriculum to be accessible from the start. Differentiated instruction complements UDL. You differentiate content by adjusting complexity, process by varying grouping strategies, and product by offering choices in how students demonstrate learning. IFSPs and IEPs are central to this exam. The IFSP, Individualized Family Service Plan, is for birth to age 3. It's family-centered, focusing on the whole family's resources, with services in natural environments like the home. The IEP, Individualized Education Program, takes over at age 3. It's student-centered, focusing on educational goals and special education services. The transition from IFSP to IEP around age 3 is a critical process. Remember, IFSP is birth to 3, family-centered, natural environments. IEP is 3 and up, student-centered, school-based. Evidence-based interventions are a major focus. Systematic instruction teaches skills in a planned, sequential order with data collection. Embedded learning opportunities weave instruction into everyday routines like snack time and circle time. Activity-based intervention uses a child's interests, for example, using train activities to practice counting and vocabulary. Incidental teaching capitalizes on naturally occurring moments. When a child reaches for a toy, the teacher prompts a verbal request first. Behavior management is critical. The 4 functions of behavior are gaining attention, escaping a task, accessing a tangible item, and sensory stimulation. A functional behavioral assessment, or FBA, uses the ABC model, antecedent, behavior, consequence. Based on the FBA, you develop a behavior intervention plan with preventive strategies, replacement behaviors, and response strategies. Positive behavior supports are proactive, structure the environment, teach social skills, and reinforce desired behaviors. Peer models and cooperative clusters help children with disabilities learn social skills through observational learning. Augmentative and alternative communication, or AAC, supports children with limited verbal ability through picture exchange systems or speech-generating devices. Practice question. A preschool teacher notices a 4-year-old with a developmental delay has difficulty during large group circle time, but engages well in small group activities. Which approach would most effectively support this child? A. Requiring the student to sit in the front row during circle time. B. Embedding targeted objectives into small group and center-based activities. C. Assigning a paraprofessional to sit with the student during large group time. D. Reducing the content covered during large group instruction. Think about which approach best matches evidence-based practice. The correct answer is B. Embedding targeted objectives into small group activities. This reflects embedded learning opportunities, delivering instruction where the child is most successful. The scenario tells you the child engages well in small groups, so that's where you meet the child. Options A and C support the child during large group, but don't address the instructional match. Great work covering child development and curriculum, planning, and instruction. But here's the thing. Domains 1 and 2 are 46% of your exam. You still need Domain 3, Assessment, worth 20%, Domain 4, Partnering and Collaborating, worth 18%, and Domain 5, Legal and Ethical Practices, worth 16%. That's 54% of your exam we haven't covered. The complete study guide covering all 5 domains, plus full-length timed practice tests, is available right now at TeacherPreps.com. Link in the description. Good luck, future teacher.